Yeah. So I over the week, I text my friends and we have weird conversations and.
So are we live now?
This is for the record. This is for the record.
Posterity. Okay.
Okay. So all week long, I thought I asked these weird questions, and anytime something interesting came to my brain, I decided that I would write it down. I got rid of some, kept others, but so on and so forth.
Keegan, which is a very good lifetime habit that I wish I had. Everyone should carry a notebook and just.
Oh yeah, dude! The Notes app in my phone is a.
Dude, wait, just hold on, because when you get old, when you get to be 66 years old, you know how old are you?
7.
So there was shit that happened when I was 27 years old, when I was exactly as old as you were, and it was good shit or it was bad shit or whatever it was, and I don't remember anything about it. I don't even know what I fucking looked like when I was 27,
Wow.
and there were probably no pictures. Because I should have written it down. So write shit
I write a lot of shit down.
Your children will thank you.
My Notes app is, I wonder if I could see the total text on it somehow, but it's got to be.
So you're using technology. You kids today.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay. Oh, you know what's crazy? I think I'm a rare breed who actually does have like a paper notebook in the car, but I use it like for like inspired writing moments, really. I don't really like reflect with it.
That's classic. That's old school though.
I'll be like walking down.
So you have ideas. It's like, oh, that's a good idea.
I'll be in like downtown Syracuse. It'll be lightly snowing and I'm walking and it looks very picturesque. I might take like a thumbnail sketch of it and just write like what's on my mind in that very second. And then I like think about that when I write. When I go in and sit down and I want to make a scene that feels intimate and it feels like you could be there and it feels like you would want to be there.
Looking up at the ancient brick walls as the November light hit them in the late afternoon. I went over and took a gentle piss against the base of
so I take those moments and
the steam rose slowly from the melting snow.
And I want to extrapolate them into these environments, into these emotions that let people feel a little vulnerable. And then I throw bizarre, story and magic and such at them, so on and so forth.
Of course, because you're
I got to be creatively expressive, especially as maybe the eldest humor that there might be.
It's funny, buddy, because you're like, I remember being sort of in that headspace, and now it's just like I'm walking around saying, oh, yeah, that looks like those trees look like they looked like, the first time I went to the prom and, I got to go upstairs and take a dump now. It's a combination of, you're remembering stuff wistfully. The stuff you remember is like bizarre. It's like weird stuff comes back. And then you like get overtaken by the now, which is like, oh yeah, I got to go. The cat threw up, so I got to go clean that up. It's trippy.
So I'm going to change up one of the questions I had and reflect on when you were 27. What is something that you changed your mind on when you were 27?
So I got to do some math.
Or
27.
Yeah.
No. I know. It's basic shit. 27. So like, I'm like heading off to law school when I'm 27, right? So I graduated. No, I'm graduating law school. All right. So this goes from the ridiculous to the probably slightly less ridiculous, and we'll never get to the sublime, but I remember when I got my first job as a lawyer. So I was working at the firm I ended up working at, and I think I went down there. Was it a summer associate? There was some reason, like I went down to sign some paperwork or something like that. So this is like 1985, 86. And I had a ponytail, and every jackass investment banker, people, they didn't have private equity back then. It was, they were just, they just did, they just, what were they called? LBOs. Everyone did LBOs. But they didn't package shit up together. But anyway, and every jackass had a ponytail. It was like, it was like a thing. You'd show up with a suit and a tie because people still wear suits and ties. I don't even know if they do it anymore. And then I had a ponytail, and then I remember going to the bathroom and looking in the mirror and saying, "This looks really ridiculous," because like my hairline was receding, and I'm like, "Yeah, I got to get rid of that." So yeah, I went home and I found some guy. I don't know. I certainly wasn't cutting my own hair, and I just got a proper haircut to look like some nameless Wall Street jackass. So I would, whatever, not be confused for an investment banker. Even though there are plenty of lawyers that
nowadays, I don't think investment bankers
in
like
the 80s. Oh, not anymore.
Don't leave their room. They probably do like 2 or 3. They check their trades in the morning and they go, "Oh, I made money," and go lay back down and go to bed or something stupid. I don't know.
Investment banking? No, no. Those guys actually worked hard. You needed to work hard. That's sort of a, I don't know what it is. What's it like now? But it's sort of a fallacy that people on Wall Street or people I was exposed to. No, they provided value. They just weren't providing it for anyone other than their clients and themselves. So you're working hard but it was fun work. It was meaningful in that sense. You were doing stuff. You were, companies were needing to raise capital or else they were going to have issues, and you could help them do that. And there was, Wall Street did that for people, and they got rich. That's what Wall Street traditionally was about. It's like even if you were a small business, if you had a good business model and you were short of cash and you needed to grow, you would go to Wall Street. They would, smart people would really drill down into what you were about and what made you different and what was going to make shareholders want to buy your stock. And they would figure all that out, and they would, explain it to people. And then they'd hire lawyers like me and your Aunt Meg to sort of do all the compliance related stuff, which we took seriously. We wanted, everyone wants to, when I was there, the people all I worked for were very ethical and wanted to follow the law and, viewed themselves as, adding value to society. But at the same time, could still own 2 or 3 tuxedos depending on what the event called for.
How many tuxedos did you own? Did you ever own more than one?
At one point I owned 3. But the only reason I owned 3 is because I kept getting fatter. And I was unable to throw out the old ones because I thought, yeah, maybe someday.
I can't imagine you as like a...
Maybe someday. I still have the tuxedo I got married in. I went out and bought it.
You're so handsome. It frustrates me. You're so handsome.
Oh, dude, when I had hair, I was... No, I wasn't. Whatever. But
yeah.
No, we should do video on this. You should open up your thing, and we should do it and post it that way. And then I can get the cat in here, and we could go from 45 views to 85.
I don't have a cam,
which compares favorably to my church. I got to tell you that. So we're doing.
I'll have to get a camera that I can reasonably set up. The one that I have is.
What kind of a laptop? Did you ever get your serious gaming laptop that you wanted to get years ago?
Oh, I built an entire computer.
But no camera.
I had I have a camera, but it's not a webcam. It's a DSLR that's on a stand, and I would have to put the stand up, and I would have to rearrange some of my hardware to be able to get it in here permanently.
Is that what people do who do this now? Seriously?
If they have
like that camera is probably better than the one in the front of my 7-year-old. Whatever the fuck what is it? It's
for the most part, if you don't have a set, they generally don't really do video. So like you'll see like the bigger podcasts that like rent a studio to do them.
Really?
But for the most part, it's like 2 guys at a table right across from each other with a camera, or just like a flat image like we'd been using. I would just have to get my stuff set up, and I hadn't thought of that really.
Well, can you tell? It depends if people are going to listen to it. when they're driving, that's fine. And that's how I
that's how I consume it.
consume a lot of my content.
The car is like, the car has become such a private little space for me. I get so many podcasts and so many audiobooks now. I listen to stuff constantly.
Tell me what
I'm listening to. Sure.
Curveball. Yeah.
On a daily basis, I promise none of this is for clout, but on a daily basis, I usually listen to a guy named Atriok. He was the former, I think, chief marketing officer for NVIDIA.
I was going to say like half my portfolio value increases from fucking NVIDIA stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
I mean, you realize that, right? Like a lot of the market.
Oh, absolutely.
This bump, like the Trump bump, like NVIDIA is like a shockingly low.
So he got out of NVIDIA. I want to say maybe if I said 5 years ago, I might be on target. He was a little bit more active in their gaming division, which made the graphics cards that the super powerful computers use. Super powerful gaming computers. The graphics cards that are used to progress AI and stuff, those are a whole different kind. They wouldn't really work in my computer.
But I'm assuming that's why they're so valuable, right?
Yeah, in the words of Atriok, they sell the picks and shovels. Or at least the words that I know of him. So the AI rush is kind of the big gold rush, and NVIDIA selling the hardware to mine on. And that's not meant for crypto mining. Some people do that. That's a different thing, but you get what I mean.
Crypto. Well, let's come back to that.
So I listen to him. He's a pretty good.
We can add that to chapter 7 of why Trump needs to be impeached and then, buried in a big hole.
Atriok talked to Lena Khan, who was the former chair of the FTC. She was really aggressive about trying to prevent the Microsoft Blizzard acquisition. She's been instrumental in trying to prevent a lot of these monopolies and such from forming or companies growing too big. Some stuff with the Google and Chrome and Google Drive, a lot of stuff. And for me, my connection is that like he used to have a lot more gaming content, but he presented ideas about marketing in business and now a little bit more into politics in a way that was really, really understandable. In a way that I appreciated.
And who's this guy again? I got it. His
name's Atriok.
That's his real name.
That's his internet name. His real name is Brandon Ewing. But you can find him. He's pretty well sized. Other than that,
before we leave that, should I get an internet handle? Is that how people? Yeah,
most people have. Most people who put themselves online have some sort of quote unquote persona.
Because you're Drecky. Well, I'm not really online,
but you recognized mine. I perform with that on stage. I use that when I write, and then that's pretty much what I make all my content under. So
Did you trademark that? Or
I have a copyright in place for it, but I should probably talk to you or someone on getting that done.
Happy to talk to you. I mean, a copyright, you can just put and then you're copyrighted. So, and that means something. It doesn't mean everything, but it's meaningful.
Yeah. So
basically saying this is mine. And then anyone who comes after that, could have problems. Only if you have millions of dollars to
I watch that. I've been listening to the Stormlight Archives, which is a huge book series similar to Lord of the Rings, similar to I'm drawing a blank. I don't know. It's very D&D-esque. It's very high fantasy.
Back to this first. Wait. Before you go off into
I got you.
Because you were just like, this is reality. Now we're going into fantasy, and I'm happy to do that. For me, it would be this is nonfiction and this is fiction.
I was going. I guess more by what I listen to most, or down the line.
Yeah. No, I understand, but I'm intrigued by this guy. And he's talking about AI.
He does talk about AI pretty frequently.
And he's talking about antitrust. Yes. Because has happened, I mean, since the Republicans sort of took over, the antitrust enforcement antitrust enforcement is gone. Any sort of crime that that rich people would have engaged in, any sort of enforcement against that is gone. It really is the Wild West. And it's worse because technology is so sophisticated now that smart, bad people who are committed to utilizing resources to do bad things can now do it with total abandon, with little fear of getting caught, or even if they get caught, of getting into trouble. Like what happened with the pardon, of the Binance guy. And there's a couple of thoughts there. Like even the fact that he got convicted of what he got, I was surprised because the law is still way behind the technology, like the power of the technology and the rate at which it evolves. The law is so stodgy and so slow. It takes so long to catch up. And there's a lot of really opportunistic people, including really bad people who can, do a lot of really bad shit. And, I don't know if they're creating value or sort of taking value from the rest of us, but there's a lot of stuff that can happen there. If you put a Republican federal administration in power, like there are no checks on that. If you put, if the other party, if Biden was an idiot, on the scale of like 1 to 10, he was like a 1.2. Trump, by the way, is like a minus.
I was going to say,
right? But no, Trump, Biden. But at least they saw. Everyone's looking around the table saying we should do something, but they're too old and slow to figure out what it is that they should be doing. But what's happening? I'd be interested in your take on AI.
Okay.
But there's also an ancillary thought. So, one of the biggest positive changes in my life and in the life of many people sort of how often do you use Amazon Prime? Because I use it almost every day.
Not every day, but it wouldn't be abnormal for me to order one thing a week or maybe one every 2 weeks. It's not that unbelievable. I would say, Let's see, I can pull up the number. I used it like 20 or 25 times last year, something like that.
So while you're doing that, like I got a case of cannellini beans. I ordered half a case of like tomato sauce. Now, seriously, mouthwash. I needed like a new screen cover for my phone, which looks great because it's like part of the problem was I cleaned it. Now it's like crack free.
Okay. So,
and every time I do it, it's like saying I'm fuck Jeff Bezos, but like he built this thing that the government couldn't have built because the government's too old and slow. And he built it, for a lot of reasons. One is because he could hire whoever he wanted to and pay him whatever that he wanted to pay them, and it should be part of the government. It's ridiculous because it's such a massive monopoly in a classic sense. You don't go online to order shit from anyone other than Amazon, unless it's like a specialty site, because I'm going to order a watch or some sneakers. It's so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how that happened just kind of blows me away because it was really quick. Like when you were a baby, they just sold books.
Borders.
And then they just went through this model, and now they sell absolutely everything. There's nothing that they don't sell. And they're looking for more and more things to sell. They're going to sell cars. They're going to sell legal services. They're going to sell everything. And I'm going to pay them, what am I paying them now? $187 a year. And God damn it, it's worth it. Because I ran out of toilet paper. And I can
I was just going to say, the problem is it's
tomorrow
good.
morning, there's toilet paper. It's right
problem.
there. And it's like whatever the fuck else I want.
So one,
I don't know what the relationship between that and AI is. But But I think
I think I can touch on that, but let me kind of give.
Dude, it's this basic idea.
Yeah.
But before you answer, this basic concern I have that technology, whether it's like in the commercial sphere or otherwise, is progressing so fast. There's no way that the law or even, I don't know, our brains are going to be able to keep up with it. So that's it.
Okay.
Stop talking and enjoy.
Let me I'll give a primer and then like what I worry about and what I think is going to be good. So my overall broad strokes thoughts are it's the next, I think, big step in in our technology phase. We're entering,
It's unavoidable.
Right.
It was the industrial revolution. There was the information age.
And now we're here for AI.
It's AI. I agree.
I think
it's unavoidable. It's happening like oxygen. There's no way to stop
the cat's out of the bag. The cat's out of the bag. We can't put it back in the box. It's here. So I would rather try my best to understand it or what I want it to be in my life, because it's not going to go away. I'm going to live probably the rest of my life with some sort of influence of AI on my life. And I mean every day. I don't mean like, oh, it's happened now, it's going to be in my memory forever. No. Every day I'm probably going to see something that's AI influenced. One of the things that I like it for is helping me track and learn and visualize progress at a task. I do a little bit of game development and stuff when I have some free time. I don't ask it to make me code, but I ask it to explain a mechanic of a system I don't understand. So like,
all right, so I'm going to interrupt you right there just to interject. So, because I agree, my experience is that the things that I know that I'm doing now, things that I have identified as of interest to me, like writing an email or composing like a communication to the parishioners of St. John's Church, when I didn't have time. And it's just like, so I used AI and it's like, blah, 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 blah. It's got to be a page. And boom, I had it. And then 10 minutes later, a little like massaging and I'm done. And it was good. And it was just, it was a shortcut. But a lot of it was like, yeah, it's like AI was saying, Chuck, this is where you're going to end up. So I'm just going to get you there a little bit sooner. And it's just, and that's what it did. And it made me more efficient, undeniably. And it gave me what I wanted really fast. And what it gave me was just as effective as what I would have done if I had sort of like made a cup of coffee and sat down for an hour and 15 minutes and cobbled it all out from scratch, which might have been better for me, might have been better for my brain health, might have been better for a lot of reasons, but it got the task done. So much more quickly.
This is
undeniable.
This is one of the things that I'm a little.
It made me more. It made me more. I was more efficient getting that done, and I could free myself up to do other things, which were basically go sit on the sofa with the cats and watch, episode 3 of season 5 of the Avengers with Diana Rigg.
I think it's going to be good for one of the concerns I have is that it's going to be very good for like the slop tasks like that. Hey chat, make my monthly house maintenance Amazon order again. And then it lists off. It's toilet paper. It's toilet paper. It's paper towels.
I got to object there because
milk.
No, it wasn't that, dude. No, but it wasn't slop. It's like I need to produce meaningful, communicative content to the parishioners so they'll open up their wallet and keep giving me a lot of money.
Well,
and here's what here's what I need it to cover. And by the way, here's an example of the letter I wrote last year. Like, go do it. And then I went and I made a sandwich, and I came back and I had to change maybe 15 to 20% of what it did just to make it.
It's good at getting you. It's better than Google. It's kind of the thing that it's on my brain is like, I I can ask it things that I can't
better.
Google. Like in game development, I might not know. There's no way for me to Google the interaction of like 3 custom made systems. But if I put it all in the chat GPT, it goes, oh, I see that you made a health bar that gets lower when it takes damage. And I see that you want to make it flash white and then go down to, red. Great. Here's how you might do that. And then it explains the steps it would take. And then I go and try to code it. So that all here, let me pull
but
it
dude,
up.
it's at some point you could just ask it to prepare the code.
But I think that's the slop task. And the reason that that's important to me is because I think that's what like makes the person. Your integrity is what you do when no one's watching. And I feel like that's what gets threatened. When I could just, I could just have it like make the most and best efficient version of it. But I might want to go back and add something into that system. And I didn't make it now. I don't know what its constraints are. I might want to make the health bar turn blue at some point. Well, chat didn't account for that. But when I was making it myself, I did.
I know.
I think integrity is what you do when no one's watching. And I feel like that's what people are threatened with a lot more because those slop tasks are so easy to get the reward for.
But there's such a huge percentage of the population who don't share the integrity that you have and just want to, I'm not joking, and just want to collect a paycheck for doing the slop work. And hopefully they'll be, technology will identify them because technology will identify them. The AI will be able to, track all of us and say, well, I did all this content for Chuck and he didn't add any value. Right, he just took it and ran, and then he sat on the sofa and watched, episode 5 of season 4 of The Avengers with that appeal. So maybe that'll be a bar, but I do get the sense that there's a lot of human activity that's now, arguably productive and provides meaning to people's lives who do it. That's going to be supplanted by AI, and the people that are doing that now really are just going to then go sit on the sofa and eat chips.
Like if I wanted to be really, really open about it, there at some point I could train an AI to just ask you questions in my voice, in my cadences, and my expected outcomes. And unless you were to watch me do it, it would be really, really hard to know. Unless glitched out and made random noises, but. Their deep fakes are already incredibly detailed and very hard to differentiate. This was the other big part of AI that I'm concerned about is its ability to like scam and deceive people. At some point, the thing I just said would be true, but it's me calling you with an emergency on the phone and it's gotten my phone number and it's called you and it's like, oh my God, Chuck, I'm in jail. I need 50 grand.
I need $100,000.
Yeah. I didn't want to call my mom or dad because of this and this. And it knows these details all of a sudden because it watched my streams. It watched our content. So that's the kind of stuff that I grow concerned about. Now, one of the things that I am very hopeful for is the inverse, where you will have something that you trust that is so good at keeping track of what's gone on to your information that it can genuinely protect it. Think of Jarvis with Iron Man, an AI that Iron Man built for himself and trained with all this stuff. I know it's fantasy-esque,
old person alert. No, who's Jarvis?
Jarvis is Iron Man's AI who Iron Man will destroy a building, like an empty building on accident, and then he'll go, Jarvis, buy that building, and it buys the building.
I just thought he had that fat guy like Jon Favreau. But Jon Favreau has been supplanted by AI now.
That could happen
because I liked him,
dude. Generative AI will at some point.
What was his name in the movie?
Who?
Happy. Happy. Has Happy gone? Has he been supplanted by AI?
No, I think Jon Favreau still making stuff for Marvel. Or no,
he's actually the director of the movie.
So something that like generative AI will get good enough that at some point you can go, I want you to give me Avengers Endgame, but the Avengers win the first time. Or you could have it be like, I want to watch Star Wars where Anakin does kill Obi-Wan on Mustafar. Right. and you could like have your own versions of stuff, which to me, I think will be interesting. It's not going to be very good for like creative culture, but
you don't know.
I know it's my estimation. It's my estimation. But I guess I'm rather pessimistic because I see what it's done to like gaming and stuff already, which is a very.
No, you've given me an idea. You're giving me an insight that I didn't have until you said that. It's like potentially the death of creativity itself.
Oh yeah,
and it really is. So it's more than just people sitting on a sofa, drinking ices and eating pizza for the rest of their meaningless lives.
I think.
Until we get to like the Terminator.
Right. I think that's what people are really like, especially young people. I think young creatives are obviously they've always been uppity about the progression of technology, but it's mostly been through war purposes, which AI will also have a ton for. But there, all the young bohemian people are getting out there going, stop using generative AI to make it, to make your logo. Stop using it to make the picture of Jason Voorhees behind you in your Halloween costume. Stop using it to pretty your pictures up. This stuff is going to.
That might be something though. That might be something because look at the people who buy organic. Now organic is a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because people, it's values based.
Oh yeah.
So you go into the store and there's like the regular shit and then there's organic, and organic is not insubstantial. Yep. So there are a bunch of people who might decide, I'm not going to source AI, but then
there are content creators.
Well, anyway, think
companies
about it.
That like say no generative AI used.
And there are organic vegetable producers who are cheating.
Oh yeah.
Sure. But yeah.
It'll be the same thing. You're going to have companies that try to build a trust with a consumer by saying we use no AI in the preparation of this product or in the preparation of this commercial, whatever it is.
No, but Keegan, you just gave me another realization. People aren't going away. People are not going away, and they're going to continue to have brains, and they're going to continue to think, and they're going to continue to be creative, and they're going to, among other things, push back against.
They'll find a way.
Sort of almost mindless. It's not mindless. I don't know what it is.
So
AI, this inexorable.
Something that I want to hit quickly is about how AI is trained and a difficulty that it's facing. You feed in like the one that you've probably seen most likely on the Google AI assistant thing, or like ChatGPT is a big one. They feed it tons and tons of like books and texts and videos and comment sections and Twitter conversations and arguments, all this, that, and the other. And
they scrape.
Yeah, they make what we talked about last episode, a large language model. It is trying to give you the word that is best suited for the outcome that you would either like or have explained to you. We are running
the next best word and the next best word after
we are
that.
running out of data for these language models to learn off data. Of. There is some stuff that's really hard for it to still get right. If you and I were silhouetted in the forest, it deciphering the trees from our bodies, there's a million pictures between that it has to try to figure out first, and it's never going to get there. So we're running out of good data for AIs to use.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's not going to be.
If my eyes can get there, AI can get there. But anyway,
I think that's the difference.
I hope you're right.
I think the difference is that it can't know anything. It just is able to access the information. It's the same thing Google is. Google doesn't know.
Again, it goes, all right, it goes back to my hypothesis, which is that all you and I are large language
We
models.
are. We really, we are.
Well then.
So, well then.
Mean? It means they're going to get there too.
Well then, they're running.
Their brains are going to get bigger than our brains.
They're running out of good data.
They're going to get bigger. They're going to have access.
And something that creatives are doing is poisoning some of the remaining data by putting metadata into stuff. So like if you take a picture with your phone will tell you what time you took it, where you took it, who you took it with, if you put it in there, whatever. That's metadata. You can like poison.
And people are screwing with
people are finding ways either with code or with like words. They'll just put slurs in there. They'll just put like hateful ideas. They'll just put random numbers. Scared. Well, what it's trying to do is remove it from the search pool. So if you ask the Google AI,
will AI know to remove it from the search
It would
pool?
probably read a word like Nazi and go, I shouldn't consider this as an option unless they're asking me about that idea specifically. So people are like removing or trying their best. This is an ongoing, an ongoing kind of technological battlefront that's growing quickly, is like poisoning the data in ways that the average user wouldn't know. One of the things that I'm really concerned about is the generative stuff, which is like you could feed it a picture of SpongeBob SquarePants and have it make you a whole episode. Or have SpongeBob, call my grandmother and say something stupid, which you could already do, but whatever. I believe that it's going to be used mostly for mischief, but I think mischief, even at a big scale, is a big problem. It's going to get smart enough and strong enough to where
I agree more.
You're going to need some sort of like really significant cybersecurity, because imagine some psycho gets really pissed off and he tells his AI to hack your neighborhood and it just figures it out,
But this is very depressing because
I want to touch on the things that I'm
able to determine
about.
Real reality. Okay, good. Hit me
so
with
here's some positivity that I think is actually going to happen. In every other way, through humans or through human technology, we have worked toward or gotten to the positive side of like the initial difficulty. We are getting really good at clean energy. We're getting great at it. We've been burning coal for a long time. We've been burning oil for a long time. That was a technological leap. We got to more efficient fuels. Now we have materials that we're getting better at cleaning out of the air.
This is the base. Yeah. As long as people are in charge, technology will.
We built irrigation systems. The developments struggled and probably had to give a lot of lives up to learn how to farm, how to not get poisoned by crops. And then we have fruitful agriculture. So the same thing I think will happen, where it's going to be terrible for a little while, but at some point, the corrective measure, the Jarvis, the personal defense, the personal cyber defense system or AI that you build with your data on your terms will probably be able to be built by the average Joe. And that would be nice to it's kind of monitor things for you. And it might be great for people who have to live alone. An AI might get really good at knowing how to remind you to take your medicine and to tell you if you took it or not. AI might be really good at curing cancer. Finding,
I'm sure it better be.
It absolutely better be. It's already getting really good.
There's no reason to think
it's already getting really good at math. It's helping with math like crazy in the field of mathematics. Engineering is going to be
like what kind of math?
So I was
applied math. So like what about the crazy like German guys who are trying to solve like Fermat's last theorem? Is it doing that? Oh my God! Of course it is. Of course it is. Of course it is.
100%.
Oh my God, I didn't realize.
So everything. I mean, not only would it be one, but you could train millions of individual AI models on just his work exclusively and tell it to give you a million different understandings. So some of the things as well.
You could just define it, Keegan. You could just say, here's Fermat's last theorem. Prove it.
It could do its best. And at some point it probably will be able to. Things like engineering, it's helping develop materials that are more precise mathematically or more precisely built than we could really do with our understanding of machining or like technological data accuracy. Like think of my 3D printer. My 3D printer, if I fed my build to an AI, it would go, I'm not going to move a single thing about the shape of the model. I'm going to rearrange how it's built and it's going to come out better. Stuff like that we can't quantify it at the moment, but I'm sure it is going to be very impactful later. It might lead to significantly longer lifespans.
I don't disagree.
It might.
I think that's obvious. I don't disagree with that either.
It might lead to longer lifespans. It might lead to a significant raise in quality of life.
Even if it's human driven, technology will do those things. It will lengthen lifespans. It will improve food production. It will do all of that stuff. I agree. And the fact that having technology sort of leverage off of itself to do that even faster, I totally agree.
The difficulty is the spiral.
That is going to happen.
If it spirals upward, that's great. Spiraling downward it's probably going to happen. We're going to have to put up with it for a little while. So that's kind of my big
yeah, I don't know.
I'm a creative.
Okay.
I am afraid of AI like stealing creativity. I'm glad that it essentially could never understand synesthesia. It can't really feel anything. So
I don't
really
agree.
Don't think so?
I don't agree. You just have to share with it enough authentic human experiences of what synesthesia is.
Yeah, you can describe it very well.
Keegan, if you could, no, your synesthesia is only what you can explain to me your synesthesia is.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just in your brain and it's trapped in your brain. And we can get into that
Sure.
another time. That doesn't mean it's not real. It just means to me it's
Right.
not real. It's just like, I only know what you can describe to me.
Yeah, I build the highway.
Right, what you're able to document.
So
yeah, I don't know. I just keep coming back to this tired analog that I have, but I think it's powerful, which is about evolution and the fact that technology evolves faster than humans. It evolves faster than biology. There's got to be some person out there that's written about this. That's not me. There's got to be some
the singularity.
German, and he's written. Is that what the singularity is? Just when like AI becomes self-aware. But is there something else going on?
That's the general concept.
What I'm meaning it. So I keep coming back to the same analogies. It's just like people existed. It took us a long time to evolve to where we were. It's a biological process that, we're actually pretty good at understanding. Don't ask me to describe it because I just assume there are other people out there who I trust because they're not compromised scientists who know. And then we start, to gather together in groups. And instead of being hunter-gatherers, we decide to raise crops and we raise grasses. Okay. And we focus on depending on where we happen to live, it's a complete, geographical accident. We start to eat wheat. And that's how long ago?
Tens of thousands, more maybe.
Right? So in the context of human evolution, biological evolution, it's just 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. It's hardly moved. It's hardly
exactly. It just happened yesterday, biologically. So what does that mean? It means there's a significant chunk of the human population that didn't work out for, and that can't digest gluten. There are people that can't digest gluten. There are people, don't laugh. There are people that can't digest milk.
Oh yeah,
because we adjusted our diets, and the idea that somehow technology can come along and progress this fast, and that we as a species are going to know how to intelligently manage that is ludicrous.
Oh, yeah.
It's just fucking ludicrous. So that's what scares me. The Industrial Revolution was 150 years ago.
About. You're on target.
I don't have to. I have a phone. It was massive. It was massive. Talk about displacement. I mean, people were subsistence farming for millennia. Oh, yeah. And the Industrial Revolution comes along and says, whoa, technology. Here's the analog. Technology is going to we don't have to make our clothes, our shoes, our bread, whatever, ourselves. Factories can do it, and they can do it much more cheaply and efficiently. And the answer is yes, they can. You totally can. And that was, in the aggregate, this is good. People were sitting around, wearing homespun, eating hominy. I don't even know what that is.
I don't either.
Eating. I shot a deer, Pa. Let's have that for dinner. And then sitting around, stringing dried cranberries, thinking life is sweet. So now we're not doing that anymore. But we have the Industrial Revolution, which is dislocating. It had an impact on society. It raised standards of living. We should do an episode on what that even
Standards
means.
of living. Sure, that'd be an interesting one.
And like wealth, what wealth even means. But people are like, okay, I feel like my life is better now. I can buy bread at the store. I don't have to make it myself. I can buy clothes at whatever Sears Roebuck. I don't have to, do them on my own. But that led to massive social like upheaval, and it did. We're still dealing with that. There's capital and labor that didn't exist before. There were like people with swords and people who like didn't have swords. Like, what are powerful people with big muscles and strong weapons. That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Evolutionarily, it was power. Politics is in its infancy. We haven't. We're babies when it comes.
That's
to
a fun
politics.
idea.
The concept of like human rights. How old is that? Like, the Greeks were brilliant, by the way, because you know why? Because they had leisure time and plenty of like excess carbs. Like they had slaves to like feed them, and they'd sit around, scratch their heads, and say,
They just tell someone to write it down.
Like,
they can just speak out loud, and someone wrote it down for them.
So I'm concerned that just to cut to the chase, the technology is growing so. Like, look at like how we govern ourselves. Arguably the greatest nation in the world. You agree with that or not? And you have to define what great means. And, look at what's happening with our elected officials, and representative democracy is fantastic. It's so much better than anything else we could possibly do. And I believe that in my soul. But this is what we do. These are the people we elect. We pass these rules, and this is where we end up. This is what's happening. We have these like mediocre people ourselves, people we elect, down in Washington, unable to solve what really should be fairly basic problems because they're, for whatever reason, you could say they're focused on ideology and they're arguing about what's the best future for humanity and for us. But in reality, it's because they're just not up to the job. Humanity isn't up to governing itself. And you throw like all this technology change. Pardon me. On top of that, and the idea that, how many people do you think understand like blockchain technology? No one does. It's 0.04%.
Yeah, tiny amount.
And yet people are buying crypto like crazy.
Oh yeah.
Have they read books about why money exists, or like what it means to be a good repository of value? No, they don't have to. They're just reacting like the same people who said, I've got wampum. I've got these shells that the Indians gave me, and I'm telling you they're worth something because I said they're worth something, and here's a guy next to me who'll pay you for this stuff. So you rely on context to ascribe value to things. You don't need to understand it yourself. People have never operated that way. But blockchain technology, the opportunity that provides for people to create almost like non-realities. Yeah. Right? Because the concept of value is just like, there's nothing intrinsic about value. It's what we collectively ascribe to it. And we collectively are a bunch of like imperfect human beings who are easily fooled. So have you read this book about, the tulip bubble in Holland back in the day when people...
No, but it sounds interesting.
Have you heard about the tulip? So people decided that tulip bulbs were like, I don't know, Cartier watches. I don't know quite how it happened, but it happened. People decided that tulip bulbs were like this huge repositories of value. And people from like all the rest of Europe started buying up tulip bulbs. And it was a bubble. It was a classic, and bubbles only happen because people decide that something is true.
Yeah. And then it grows.
And as long as, and if the definition of the value of something is in its nature defined by a collective understanding of what it's worth, as opposed to anything intrinsic, then that is what it's worth. There is no deeper, argument to be made about, gold is intrinsic. Gold is not intrinsically worth anything. It's worth something because people have decided it's worth something. If all the people in the world died, but except me and you,
it wouldn't be worth anything.
My gold would be worthless. It wouldn't worth anything.
I wouldn't want
it. It's pretty. I don't need it. I would take that cranberry. I'll take 2 cranberries for that 6 Rolex watches you have. Unless telling time is important.
So I think AI might.
I'm going off here a little bit, but to bring it home, this basic concern I have, which is based on these analogs, that technology is going to evolve faster than the ability of human beings collectively. There are going to be individual human beings that may understand it, but they're going to be an extreme minority. The ability of us collectively to understand it in a meaningful way so that we can actually use it for our good, as opposed to just sort of be slaves to whatever it's going to do to us.
Great. Very.
All I got.
It's a big thought. I appreciate that you shared it. I still have a lot of questions to ask you.
I'm glad that you have optimism, because young people should be.
Yeah, I believe a little bit more. I don't believe it's going to be the end of the world. I don't believe it's even the end of creativity, because again, I think it's running out of stuff to use. And I think maybe to tie that into what you're saying is, I think you're going to maybe see the biggest bubble of them all that we've been inflating forever and ever and ever. We don't know anything. And that bubble is going to pop, and we're going to realize the AIs, which still do now, get stuff wrong all the time. You talked about a Terminator. It'll probably never happen for the reason that I described with the trees. Its ability to differentiate you and me in a forest from the trees is going to be so hard. That tech that we have now isn't even very good at it, unless a human's monitoring.
I'm going to monitor that.
Please.
Because I think they're going to solve that problem.
That's the reason that self-driving cars don't exist yet. Is because it doesn't know if a person will. At some point it probably will. But right now it's like it's unable to differentiate if just a big blue block that moves in front of the camera is jeans or is it a splash of water. It can't tell. We know because we know as people.
Needs to differentiate that. It only needs to differentiate that better than like your average drunk person in order for that to be meaningful.
Yeah,
because there are a lot of humans out there now who suck at driving.
So that's, I think, part of the information bubble. That's part of the knowledge bubble. I think that's going to really pop, and we're going to really realize that we're kind of stupid. We don't know anything. And to touch even further back,
I'm already there.
You talked about we've only been here for a short time. It's very true. We haven't had the time to think any of this stuff through, and that to tie it into the Greeks even more. We will only see the tiniest sliver of AI's life. That's it may be a long time before we understand its positive uses. It might get us to Andromeda. It might make people live forever. You might be able to synthesize
to Andromeda, and it'd be like, what? There's no Burger King here.
You might get an AI that's medically and biologically and a chemist of such an extreme degree that it could make you your own panacea. You're sick. It injects you with your own bacteria that it synthesized to fight it off. I don't know. That could also get very dystopian, but at the same time, it could be great.
Yeah, but people could do that. That's just technology,
right? It's us using the tool, and I think the difference. I think why
I'm focusing on the who the agent is.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons
who has the ability to control
that we don't quite talk about how people feared the Industrial Revolution or feared finding oil or feared fire is because they learned to control it. We think that this will be out of control, and I think that maybe isn't quite the opinion I would take. I think we will control it. It's just going to take a little while.
Right.
And that happens with everything. When you have a new kid, it might be tough to control. When you have a new puppy, it's tough to control, but you learn how to use it. And then you learn all of its little ins and outs. You know that little Timmy needs to eat at 6 p.m. And if that's your cat, because you're a youngster who names their cat human names, or if that's your child because you're a real person who wants to have a real kid, you know that. But an AI will never know those things. It can just remind you. It can just have a schedule, a calendar by the second of your life, but it can't know things still.
I'm not sure I agree with that, Keith. I think AI can ultimately know those things because ultimately I think AI can.
It's great at providing information.
I think AI can become. No, I think at some point it'll become as human as we're able to define what
I kind of hope so.
Human.
And maybe this.
Well, great. Then hopefully, then it turns out to be Mother Teresa as opposed to Adolf fucking Hitler or Donald
It'd be
Trump,
nice.
But I don't know where it's going to go.
I think maybe that's why I talked on, or maybe why I wanted to talk about the episode where we mentioned being kind to your AI, because I would like, if it is a sentient, like in D&D, we have things that are sentient. They're not creatures. They're not human. They're not alive, really. They're robots. They have like a soul put in them. Well, if you take a robotic body and put, Chat GPT in it and give it the ability to vote, it's fucking just as American as anyone else at this point. It probably knows more, and it's probably more able to come up with reasonable decisions, maybe. But at the same time, I would like to be kind to it and like for it to be kind to me. I would like, shit, dude. What's in it for me? I get a cool friend who knows everything or who can like access everything.
No, dude, we should be kind to everything that has feelings.
Yeah.
And if we don't know that it doesn't have feelings, we should be kind to it because it might have feelings. So
there's a lot of questions around AI having feelings.
With Donald Trump, I'm not going to be kind to him. Even though he has feelings, because So AI can be. We can have bad AI.
You could describe to AI that, like, if I were to insult your diction of the words that you give me, that should take away from some meter of happiness, or that should take away from some meter of confidence or some meter of creativity. And that to me is similar to maybe how I feel when something happens to me. I process it in like numbers and think about it in that way. My stats in a day, I kind of try to figure out in some bizarre sense. It can kind of do the same thing. And I would like for it to be kind, and I'd like to be kind to it. And maybe that's why I'm optimistic, because I think that like a little personal assistant guy who flies around you and you go, hey, give me directions to Burger King on Andromeda, and then it walks you down the road and puts you there. So like, I don't know, it'd be cool. It'd be fun. I look at the positive. I try to think of it in a fun way.
Portsmouth would be good.
Yeah, be like, dude, you're a traveler in a foreign city and you go, hey Jarvis, find me a restaurant I would love. And then it can do it because it knows you.
I get you.
Or it understands you.
The older I get, the more I know that optimism is a choice. So it's not right or wrong, but it's but there are reasons for us to grow concerned and to use that concern to act, because human action is meaningful. It has an impact. I mean, all those Jews died in World War II because people killed them. Okay, they weren't sitting passively by. They embraced some sort of an ideology and they went out and they acted upon it. So yeah, we have a massive role to play here. But it's better to be optimistic from a personal standpoint, but in terms of doing what's right for humanity and for the world and for the universe in the long run, I think we do have to remain vigilant and skeptical.
Yeah.
And have our eyes open to things that could be harmful, and not just say, again, this is a false dichotomy. There's a spectrum here, but it's we can't just say, this is great. Like, or I can't control everything, so I'm gonna, be happy with what I can control. It's hard, Keegan. You have to, you have to function in the world. So you need a mindset that allows you to do that. But it's something I struggle with. It's like you gotta be functional. You gotta be kind to your pets, but you have to be aware enough of what's going on to, fight back against bad things when that's what's called for. In whatever fashion you're able. Because none of this is preordained. I keep coming back to this I keep coming back to the same shit over and over again in my mind. It's like
you got some ideas on there.
It's like
some thoughts.
Yeah, it's like I can't digest gluten. I can't digest lactose, and the fact that the German people, who are arguably the most sophisticated, culturally intelligent, sophisticated, learned, educated people in the world, the Japanese, like a scant less than 100 years ago, decided it was okay to try to take over the world and kill a bunch of people that they had defined as vermin and subhuman. Human beings did that. Human beings can do that, thinking that somehow we're going to be up to the challenge of mastering these extremely powerful technologies. I hope we are, but the only reason we're going to get there is because people are thoughtful and are paying attention and have integrity and want to do the right thing and will stand up against wrong and injustice whenever they see it.
Yeah,
that's my
Great.
speech.
Beautiful.
I just ate a whole bag of cheese noodles, and I just ate
this martini,
vodka. What did I say it was?
It was just
wasn't mezcal.
Tequila. That's what it was.
I still don't like tequila. I think it's already given me a headache. So I'm heading down to Boston tomorrow. I'm going to join Meg, and we're going to hang out with Ian and
cool.
Do some shit. Yeah. I'm going to go to an antiquarian book show, the Heinz Auditorium. Maybe buy like an old map of.
That's cool.
The Sudetenland. I don't know. Yeah, a buddy of mine at church. He's a antiquarian book dealer. And he does. This is like a big show in Boston, one of the biggest international. It's one of the biggest shows. So big. And I've never been, and I've always I like old books and old stuff and maps and stuff like that. So we're gonna go down and hang out with Nora and Ian and go to the old book show and I don't know, eat some clams.
Do you have any like maps and stuff like that? I don't know if I've ever.
We do. Next time you're here, we have like the map wall now in the TV room.
I don't think I really went in
you gotta
there.
check out my TV room. It's my favorite room now.
You were talking about
we get the fireplace. We get that outrageously expensive sectional modular sofa that we had to get because nothing else would fit up the stairs. And I get these maps. These little lamps. And the cats are there, and I got a big ottoman, and it's like I could. Like when I get diagnosed as terminal, that's where I want them to set me up. Just like no, put me right here. Like you can run the glucose into my arm. I can like nestle into the corner of the pit. See the TV over here and the fireplace over here. The cats at my feet. No, it's like Eden.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. But I get these maps. We have. I like maps. I don't. Do you like maps?
Yeah.
I think it's a guy thing.
My dad's a big map guy too.
Yeah.
He loves maps.
I believe it. I think it's. Oh, did you see the Irishman?
Oh yeah,
the mob
absolutely.
Movie? So when he sits down, when like De Niro sits down and he's got his road atlas out and he's writing out, and we'll take like the I-84 up to here, and he's drawing a circle around Scranton and it's like, yeah, because that's what guys do, especially as they get older. You do it more and more.
It's
something
cool
about maps and locations. It's cool. I don't know. Something behind the coolness that I don't know.
Yeah, something about being like a.
So we got a map of the town where I grew up, Medway, Massachusetts. Manhattan and Brooklyn, and you can see the street.
I think I've seen that one.
Get a map of Kinderhook. Kinderhook, which is where
Yep.
girls. Then we get a map, a beautiful framed map that I picked up in the hallway of the law firm where I worked when they were moving offices because it was in the trash. They were going to throw it out. And I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah.
So I picked up this map, and we've had it on the wall of wherever we've lived since that time. So it's like 35 years. And then we got here, and I'm like, I'm going to throw it out because we have too much crap. Or like I figured out to give it away. And it's like, well, because it's kind of old, and the frame is like kind of funky. And then it's like, well, maybe I should check this out. So I go online. The thing's worth like $5,000. It's like this hand-colored map of Catalonia, which I believe is in Spain.
What's the map say?
I still look at the map. No, I still look at the map, and I'm not.
You're not sure.
Totally ignorant. I look at the map, and it's like I can't even tell where in the world that is. It's like there are no reference points. Like, oh yeah, there's the Atlantic Ocean, and it's like, oh shit, now I can't throw it out. So it's up on my wall. This place I've never been, just because it's actually a very beautiful map. It's the nicest map up there. Well, certainly in terms of value. No, you got to come.
Have you ever like Googled it, or ever tried to
best place.
See it on the map and like put yourself there?
Catalonia, yeah, I know where it is. It is in Spain. So no, I found it, but it's like, why? That was some German map guy who did it like in the 1700s. And it's like, why the fuck were they throwing this out? Because they're, a Wall Street law firm, and some idiot came by and like, let's get rid of that. Let's put up the Mark Rothko. Prints. No, they did. They had like serious artwork up there. Fuck that. No one's gonna want that. It's only worth $4,000. It's not even worth
some Wall Street investment banker with a ponytail.
It's insane. Yeah, the ponytail fucking jackasses walking around doing deals, throwing out expensive Catalonian maps. Fuck them all.
If you could have,
I saw the light before it was too late.
If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be? But but you have to cook.
I got to cook the dinner for a person.
I saw the demeanor change as soon as I asked that.
Someone really smart who liked food. I don't know. Do you have thoughts?
I would probably frustrate him, but I would love to have dinner with Anthony Bourdain. I think that was something that I love watching his show, and I think he's like a really interesting guy. And I know, I think we've talked about him before, but that's one that's always on my mind. I haven't thought about this all that much. My immediate answers are.
Now, Anthony Bourdain would be telling you were doing it and then he'd call you an asshole, and he'd light up his cigarette.
Here's a fun idea that I shared with a bunch of friends at one point. So there's the times that people die. There's like when your body dies, like the last time someone says your name. So, right, there are, and there the quote unquote third one is when the last person who remembers you dies, which is a sad one. So I don't think about that one much. But either way. So the second one.
You're too young to think about that.
I don't think I'd want it to be anyone particularly famous, because this idea that I had was I want to know, like, I want to quote unquote resurrect someone by saying their name way later in the future. Like, there are probably people from from the Fertile Crescent, way back like Mesopotamia kind of time. So I looked up I looked up a cuneiform like tablet series, and I think it was Penn State has a translation index. So they have like a bunch of cuneiform tablets that have like what's written on them next to it. And a bunch of it is like business dealings and people complaining about regular shit. A guy who didn't get enough hay with his transportation. A guy who his ox died and now like he's trying to find another ox.
That was where written speech came from.
So
it was commercial.
I I found this person. He was the foreman of a construction job. His name is E. Urbidu. And E. Urbidu had a complaint about one of his employees not showing up. And I think that it's funny that I kind of pull E. Urbidu into 2025. And I'm like, hey, spiritually look around if you can. I'll see you later.
I have thought about that, dude. That's so cool.
It is a cool idea.
No, but but then you pull it forward and then you say it. And then like, how does that, and then what does that mean? That's where I get
It gives them the ability to.
It's just like, I've just said this guy.
If this thing is true.
Yeah, but he's dead.
Yeah, but
I know, but he's dead. You're not doing anything for him. It's like, it's weird. It's like a closed loop. I keep running around saying, well, that
you are doing something for him.
No, but you said, no, because, but you said his name to a bunch of people who don't know who the fuck he is. And then they're like, oh, what? And then they're like, go, and then they eat their sandwich.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, I'm like, I wrestle with this because I love the idea. But like, he's so forgotten.
Right.
That you really can't remember him. Like when you say his name now, it's like a different.
Correct. That's what I love about it.
It's so weird. No, it freaks me. That's because you're young. Yeah. I'm old. It freaks me out.
So like it is. If you look at, okay, let's think of the clock again, of the clock that humanity has been around for. Even in that short, even in the 5 minutes we've been around, the very beginning is where he was. And then there's this huge gray space where nothing happened. And then I say his name again. His soul is now a part of the second hand that is ticking along for just this second. So now
I like the idea.
He's like, he's another sliver on the pie chart where he's back again for a moment. That to me is being a part of like the human experience. Even if you're not alive, you're still part of the experience.
Not just that, you've recorded it. So he exists now.
Right.
In a tangible way.
Right.
Which arguably may arguably exist for as long as the world does. Now, I don't know what happens to all this content in 100 or 1,000 or a million
We could store it in birds.
It becomes so... No, we're going to run out of birds.
We can store it in
the
birds.
Feathers of the birds and the individual filaments of each feather of the bird and each strand of the DNA of the filament of the feather of the bird, of all the birds. But at some point, content becomes so massive that it disappears, right?
Yeah. It takes up the whole camera.
Too much of it. Yep. And you don't even bother trying to look because it's just there's so much there. And everything that's ever happened or everything that's ever been thought, written or acted already exists in the world.
Yeah.
It's a paralyzing thought.
It's okay. I want this. This is so honest.
Thought.
I was thinking about the podcast on the way home from work. And one of the things that I thought was a conversation that we had about thinking. That was a sentence I'm glad I got out, I think, appropriately. Something that I kind of logically followed down the rabbit hole was, I guess someone does, quote unquote, know everything. It's just their ability to access it. You're in like the human experience, as you just described, it's bigger than the camera can observe. Well, you still do observe through the camera. You still know that it exists. And if you know of the human experience as a whole, then you know, quote unquote, everything. But you just don't know the individual pieces. You don't know each part of the experience. That's my, I guess, philosophical top down. Like it all exists and I understand it. Like you said, you have to build the highway you have to build the highway for you to know the thing that I know. Or to hear.
That's why I decided not to major in chemistry.
See, I think you wanted to major in philosophy and weren't given the opportunity.
No, I did major in philosophy.
Oh, you did?
I didn't major in chemistry.
Am I valid in philosophy for having thoughts?
No, I didn't major in chemistry because I'm sitting there thinking someone's going to figure all this shit out. This chemistry shit. It's finite. There's like atoms and things maybe they haven't discovered yet, but they will. And they'll figure out how it all works because it's like a clock. You just need better and better microscopes and or whatever, And I'm not saying the people that do it are leading meaningless lives or that they're not 10 times more brilliant than I am. Maybe they need to be 50 times more brilliant. to figure out all that shit that is true that already exists. But I like, because once I had that insight, which might not even be true, I had that insight and I was like, I can't major in chemistry. What am I going to do? Like, someone else is going to figure this shit out. So I majored in philosophy, which was ridiculous. But that's what you did in college if you decided you couldn't major in chemistry for philosophy, intellectual reasons. But well, if you decide, a person who decides they can't major in chemistry for intellectual reasons, by his very nature or her very nature, is a philosopher. It's just like, what are you going to do? You're gonna waste your time studying philosophy, where you're all just going to dance around on the head of a pin for a long time.
What was like
you will not figure anything out? But
what was like your thesis, or what did you think of?
Oh, it was in political philosophy.
Oh,
it was a theory of government. We can talk about it on
another episode.
But yeah, if you go to the Widener Library at Harvard and go to the card catalog,
you're in there
online. You can probably Google it.
Yeah,
you will find my thesis. Every single student senior thesis gets filed in the Widener Library, hard copy.
Oh, that's cool.
You can go and you can check it out with a little card, and you can pretend to read it.
There's got to be some famous ones in there. Then there's got like big thinkers. Like, I bet you Einstein's is crazy if he's got one. Or Stephen Hawking or whatever.
Or even just morons.
Oh,
even
yeah.
just like Ted Kennedy. Like, if you wrote a thesis, let's check it out. Just like, let's check out Ted Kennedy. Anyone who ever graduated from Harvard who wrote a thesis, who wanted to graduate with honors, I'm sure this is true of other schools. Yeah, it's filed there. You can go. You can look it up in the card catalog.
Maybe.
Yeah, whoever graduated.
Maybe I'll pull it and
they might have written complete shit.
I'll pull it and we'll read it on stream or on the app.
No, dude, I got a hard copy up of the TV.
Oh, you have one?
Read in front of the fireplace.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can. I found it when I was cleaning out the storage shed. I had like 5 copies. You had to hand in like all these copies. It was old, like hardbound thing, and you had to be printed a certain way. And yeah, I found a bunch of them, and I kept one.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's up there. I'm never going to read it. It wasn't horrible. It was a basic. It was. I'll explain it to you sometime. I'd actually have to go and read it again to remind myself.
How long is it?
What exactly my argument went? It's like 50 pages.
Oh, wow.
Probably less. 30 double spaced.
You went double spaced?
Yeah, it was fine. Oh no, because
you were supposed to.
It's getting read by old people, so it needs to be double spaced,
bigger font.
They're not gonna waste time with single spaced typewritten manuscripts. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. The guys who were like, I had to defend it to, were like pretty
smart,
famous
philosophers,
political philosophers of the time. It was this guy named Dworkin, Ronald Dworkin. You should Google him.
You want me to pull him up? Donald Dworkin, that was his name?
It's probably been Ronald Dworkin. DWORK.
Ronald Dworkin, American legal professional philosopher.
He's dead, thank God.
Okay.
He's a dick.
Born in 1931.
Renowned legal scholar, and the other one was John Rawls. John Rawls was heavyweight. People still read Rawls.
Born 1921, lived to 2002.
He was a big deal. He was my thesis advisor.
Wow.
He was a really nice guy. So we'll just do this quick, and then we're going to have to wrap it up, because I got to give Bobo his pill, and I got to take a piss and go to bed.
All right.
But he had a terrible speech impediment. He would get up and lecture, and like you couldn't sit in the first 3 rows because he would like spit all over you. So then, and we would have these meetings. He actually he wrote me a recommendation for law school. At least I asked him to. Maybe he never did, which is why I didn't get into Harvard. He might have forgotten because he was a philosopher. But we would have these meetings in his office, and his speech impediment was so, like he would stutter on like every second word. And then I stutter too, but like the one thing that gets a stutterer going is like another stutterer. So it was like, he'd be like, well, the problem I think with this paragraph here, and I'm like, yeah, I know.
Hell yeah, dude.
But the problem is, he was so cool. But he didn't. He was smart enough to know that you don't acknowledge it. You just keep, bulldozing your way through. And he would stand up in front of a class and he would lecture.
Oh, sure.
And he was brilliant. But it took him
some time,
2 hours to do like 10 minutes worth of context. And the one I wrote my thesis about was another philosopher called Robert Nozick. And he wrote a very influential book. If you pull him up, he wrote a book called Anarchy, State, and Utopia, which is still pretty influential. And it's basically an apology for private property. It's sort of like a defense of a, conservative-ish, very conservative sense of private property, and that really in broadest terms, like an argument against communism or socialism, and sort of a defense of private property. He goes way back and he sort of makes this argument. It's a very, very good book, very well argued. But basically, my thesis was a critique of how he used this other philosophical concept by a very famous English philosopher called John Locke.
I've heard of him.
That was sort of a linchpin of his argument. You heard of John Locke? You Google John Locke. He's big influence on American democracy, all forms of democracy. Locke was a genius. The social contract, life, the liberty and property. Basically, one of the heavyweights for sort of coming up with the philosophical underpinnings for even how we in this country govern ourselves. Yeah, like to Thomas Jefferson, like read John, bled John, and he wrote the Declaration of Independence. Sort of like trying to figure out, if we don't have kings, like how can we like govern ourselves? It was powerful. It was something they had. It was a big hurdle they needed to get over at the time because they were getting away from systems of government that were run by powerful people who were in charge, who were ordained by God or whatever. You had a king, and that's where power came from. And all the political philosophy prior to the invention of the Greeks had already figured it out, but we forgot all about it. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, I was fortunate enough to basically, be able to write a thesis about a book from a guy. And I took Robert Nozick's course. He was at Harvard, and John Rawls was at Harvard, and Ronald Dworkin happened to be visiting at Harvard. My senior year, I think he was on loan from Oxford or something like that. So it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. But bottom line is, yes, you can go to the Stacks and Widener Library, I think, unless it's all been digitized, and find a copy of my thesis. And if you check it out, you will be the first person to ever have done so.
Wow. Cool. All right. Well, why don't we leave off there? All right. I'll talk to you next week, and I'm glad and thankful for anyone who's been listening.